Hello and welcome to Top 4 FPL. Normally it's top 4, but today it's top 2 because we're missing two members of the squad, Oscar and Sparky, who've kind of got valid excuses. Oscar is a bunny, so he's on early Easter rehearsals. I don't know, something to do, yeah, something to do with an egg hunt or something. Yeah, and Sparky, he's um, what happened to Sparky?
He's a spark. He's not just called Sparky. He is actually a Sparky. So I think he's
Right,
an electrical emergency. But
right,
as
okay.
usual, and myself will be here today talking about game week 2. We're looking ahead to game week 3. We'll have a look at the top 4 FPL um, league
League.
table. Yes,
Yes.
and
If you'd like to join our league, click the link. We need more people. And if you fancy your chances, feel free to join.
so should we have a look at the league table?
Yeah, let's see what's going on. This is our league, top 4 FPL league. And at the moment, after 2 games,
We have a new leader. Last
amazing champ Lil MA.
yes,
Right.
last week
So you're in second place. That's not bad. Good start.
the glory of Alpinson. Yeah, I've got 72 points. Actually, I calculated that if you remember on the pilot episode, I'd actually made, well, just before game week 1, I'd made Kulishevsky captain and I had Martinelli. And then
Yeah.
luckily, I sold Nunes to bring in Kane, but then I made Kane captain and he didn't score against. Um,
The first game, he didn't score.
at home, but Kulishevsky did, and he got an assist. Basically, long story short, if I'd have kept my team the way I had initially selected it and not gone
Right.
fantasy with the captain this week because I captained Grimaris, I thought everybody's going to be captaining Jesus, which was the obvious choice, obviously.
Yes.
Just missed out on a hat trick. I think scored 2, got an assist, got 3 bonus points. If I'd have made the obvious choices, kept my original selections, I'd be in the top 900 with
Yeah,
128
well,
points.
sometimes the obvious choice is the best choice. Like, I mean, I had Harry Kane in my team as well, and Jesus, and I made none of them captain. I went and made Saka captain. Klops. That's
Yeah.
not good.
And Saka could
That's
actually
not
have
good.
scored, but Jesus
Yeah,
came up.
yeah, he could have scored. I mean, if Jesus should have passed to him for because he was going for his hat trick. But yeah, I felt that was an easy goal for Saka. But I'm going to keep him in there. Probably won't make him captain for next game, but he'll still. I still think he's going to be on the score sheet in quite a few occasions. I reckon he'll be good, Saka.
Well, before we have a look at your team, last week after game week 1, our leader was AJ Peter. Where is he? He's got
Ajay
AJ
Peter.
Peter, who's dropped down to 7th. He was first, and he had a
Yeah,
decent game week.
that's right. But that's not a bad score, 65. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a, it's only 2 games weeks. Like, um, it's literally a fine line between like last and first, even. So anyone can even be on top like this coming games week. So it's still too early to judge like who's going to be like a champion. Yeah,
yeah,
just like the Premier League.
yeah. And this week we've got amazing champ Lil Ma, um,
Mm,
and her points obviously came from the main 3: Kane, Haaland, and Jesus. And
right.
Diaz, who scored an absolutely spectacular goal against Crystal Palace on Monday.
Luis Diaz, yeah, definitely. He done well to score that. Yeah, that's what you call magic. When they
Yeah,
say you need players that can, create some magic, that was magic because like he done that all on his own, really, didn't he?
he did. If you haven't seen the
Yeah,
Sonos video, which the
yeah,
Liverpool official top Twitter account shared with the goal from every angle, it doesn't matter who you are, which club you support. It's just if you play football and you've played football and you know how it feels to score goals like that in front of spectators, it doesn't matter whether it's 40,000, 50,000,
mm,
or a couple
yeah,
of hundred or 10 on a Sunday league in a Sunday league game. It's just a feeling of beauty. And
yeah,
watching the pure joy on his face after he did that, and the reaction
definitely,
from
yeah,
the other players was just
yeah,
incredible. Wonderful
definitely,
stuff.
yeah. It does feel good to score like goals like that, especially when you're saying like like if you've played football before and you know how the players feel. Well, let's talk about Nunes. Nunes getting red carded.
Yeah,
Now, personally, I think that's ridiculous, right? I'm not gonna blame Anderson. I'm not gonna blame Anderson because that's his job. He's there. He's there to annoy Nunes. I had a problem with Nunes because I was watching it. Like I play like forward roles on a number of occasions. Like normally when I play, I'm a midfielder, but a lot of
yeah,
people say to me, "Oh, push up, go up. We need someone to push up." And you get a lot of that from defenders trying to hold you, trying to like get in the spot that you want to take up. So I know what Nunes was doing. He was trying to take up the area in front of the goal, and Anderson wasn't letting him. Of course, he's not going to let you. But what you do in situations like that is you run rings around the defender. You run, you move, you let him follow you. You make little darting runs in other directions. Don't stand there and let him annoy you and like get you sent off like that. It's like someone saying, "Oh, come on then, let's have a fight. Come on and let's have a fight. All right, then come on and let's fight." Don't say, "Come on and let's fight." Turn around and run the other way. And he wasn't trying to lose Anderson in any kind of way. He was literally engaging with him.
yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
It was terrible, terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's to do with the mentality of the footballer. It's nothing to do with his skill. He's a good player, but no, he's got to sort that out, Nunes. So now we know he can get red carded. People will be a bit wary of captaining him, wouldn't they?
well, I think everybody's aware now that he's going to miss the Man United game and he's going to miss the game against Bournemouth and at
Yeah,
Newcastle as well. So
yeah,
I'm assuming he's been subbed out. Let's have a look at how many people have subbed.
yeah. Low percentage this week could be 16%. I
16.
reckon that was double that at the beginning of the week.
So yeah, he'll be subbed out. Has he gone? I don't think he'll go down in price. I don't think the algorithm works like that. But
No, I don't
you
think
never
he'll
know.
go down. Yeah, yeah. He
Um,
won't go up and he won't go down this week, obviously. He's
but
still 9 million.
I think that's a blessing in disguise for Nunes, not for Liverpool maybe. But Nunes himself, I haven't been too impressed, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure that he fits Liverpool style, but this happening to him, he shared a tweet this week,
yeah,
yesterday, I think it was, apologising to the fans, and
yeah,
I think he'll learn from this and it'll
yeah,
make him want to do more for himself and for the team as well.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see
I
how.
think he'll score a lot of goals still.
Yeah, someone has to. And Salah doesn't
Yeah,
look like he's going to be
I
doing
think he's that kind of player. He looks like pretty high. He looks like he really wants to play, and just his enthusiasm is enough to get a few goals. And in front of what do they play? Do they play a front line of three with Nunes on the left?
No, I mean Nunes isn't. We always play 4-3. Liverpool always play 4-3-3,
Yeah.
and Nunes is obviously the centre with
Is he the
Diaz
centre?
on the left.
Okay. Okay. Well, he should have been taking up a more central role when he got sent off then because he was standing a bit left-sided on that game.
Yeah. So, Darwin, I'm assuming you've subbed him out this week, or
Yeah, immediately. Should I tell you why I subbed him out?
why or who for?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I subbed him out. I forgot it was going to be manager a month, and I thought, all right, no one's picked on me on King of the Week last week because Oscar Bunny had to sell Zinchenko because he got targeted, and then Sparky had to sell Salah because he got targeted. And I thought, if I get targeted this week and it lands on Captain Nobody, where where you can choose my captain, then obviously they'll captain Nunes because he's got a red card. So I thought, let me do my substitutions now, so they can't get me Captain Nobody on Darwin.
And just to bring everybody up to speed, if you haven't seen the first two episodes, the pilot episode where we talk about King of the Week, we've got our own rules for Fantasy Premier League. Because everybody, when we look at Jesus, how many people have got him now? Almost 80%.
Everybody's got him. You might as well say everybody's got Jesus.
Yeah. So this is a situation, and I think there's over 9 million players in the managers now in Fantasy League. So it's difficult to get ahead, and everybody will be like Van Dijk just said, captaining the same players and having pretty much the same people up front. So among myself, Van Duzel, Oscar
Yeah.
Bunny, and Sparky, we have something called Spin the Wheel for the Manager of the Month. We did it for the first week for Manager of the Week, and we have our own penalties. And one of those penalties was Captain Nobody. If you land in the wheel and you get Captain Nobody, you can force the person who, any manager to captain who you want. So if Van Duzel had have kept Darwin and somebody made him Captain Darwin for next week, then obviously,
Would that be -4 if I'd captained Darwin?
Well, no, he's not going to play, so you just basically waste your cap.
No, I'm saying like theoretically, if I captained him this week, if he was the captain, would that have been -4?
You'd have got -4.
Oh my lord! There's some people out there with -4, definitely.
Yeah, so he damaged a few people, but you left Nico on the bench. Nico was your
well, Nico's. I mean, look at my team. I mean, Nico is obviously the bench player. I've got James, Alexander-Arnold, and Ake, and my other defender is Dallo from Man United, and he's not playing either. So yeah, you can understand. Out of all them players, who would you substitute?
Yeah, of course. Well, I actually played. If we have a look at my team, I actually played Nico this week.
Yeah. Well done.
I left with Chelsea at home to Spurs. I left Sessegnon on the bench and played when Konate was injured. And I've subbed Konate out, by the way, and brought in Cucurella.
Right.
How he never got a free kick and how Spurs were allowed to equalise against Chelsea. I'm glad they did, obviously from a Liverpool perspective, but a ridiculous decision right in front of Anthony Taylor. Cucurella gets his hair pulled by the Spurs defender, whose name I can't remember. And VAR doesn't even stop. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how that's allowed to happen, but happens week in, week out. But yeah, I had Nico. So Nico got me 7 points. And Nico Williams, for those who didn't watch the Nottingham Forest game against West Ham, Nico Williams is a right wing back, and he used to play right wing back for Liverpool, but he plays in such an advanced position. He was on the inside left midfield at one point, attacking from there. So I think he'd be a very shrewd buy. I know. Let's see if he's 4 million.
Yeah, he's positioned. He's positioned quite far up the pitch. If you watch the matches, if you watch the beginning of the matches and it shows the formations, I actually saw that match, and Nico Williams was literally a right midfielder. Yep. Literally, he was positioned like even at the beginning of the game. He starts like halfway up the pitch, basically.
Yeah. So when you talk about formations, I like to play 3-4-3. I don't know. Drop in your comments below your preferred formations. Obviously, it's a case of week by week you may wish to change it, but all things being equal, I'll generally choose a 3-4-3. What do you do, Van Duzel? Do you?
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter what I do. It alternates really according to what players I got. But I can tell you what the ultimate champion of Fantasy Premier League does, because I watched something on YouTube with the ultimate champion that actually won the whole thing in the world.
No, I don't. I haven't. To be honest.
Anyway, I saw him speaking about his team and how he won it, and he apparently won it with just using 5 defenders, like almost all the way through.
Really?
Wow. He had like Cancelo, he had Alexander-Arnold, and basically the top defenders of last year. He had them right from the beginning, I think, and they were like it was the defenders that won it last season. Last season, the strikers were the least likely to score in most of the teams. It was the defenders and the midfielders that were getting the points. So, I mean, that's for last season and maybe the last few seasons. But, it can change. You never know, because we've got Jesus up front. We're getting 19 points immediately on the second week. So we can't say that. There wasn't really any strikers that were getting that many points last season. So it's a bit different this season,
last season, the strikers weren't midfielders were getting most of the goals and the defenders. So that's an excellent for this season as well, because we've got Nico. I'm sure he'll score an assist. He'll be high in the assists as well for Forest. If Forest score a lot of goals, we'll have to see. Obviously, the newly promoted club, but with Cucurella, he's an attack. James scored this week, and he scored 6 goals last season, I think.
These guys are consistent.
Let's just quickly fact check how many goals he scored last season. 5. He scored 5 last season, 9 assists.
And 9 assists,
Yeah. One of the penalties that we talked about for Manager of the Month was called Break My Shape. So you're talking about break my shape basically means you select the formation for the manager that, who's tactically would be the one that's right behind you, I'm assuming, or above you.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can choose their formation. You can make them play one forward. But again, looking at their team selection, that's where you'd pick it. But this season, formation, I'm gonna have a look at playing 4 and 5 now, because with Zinchenko, obviously, like Sparky again in the pilot episode, he mentioned that he doesn't pick central midfield, central centre backs. He picks wing.
Of course not. Yeah.
We can assume a lot of people do that. Again, drop your thoughts in the comments below if you have a different opinion on that.
Well, I have a different opinion about that. Yeah.
The only reason I picked Konate was because he's a Liverpool defender and he was cheap, 5 million. But other than that, Sessegnon, who scored at home in the first game of the season, Nico, we've already talked about, Zinchenko again, got 30. How many points did he get in the first game? He got 12 points in the first game at Palace, and James, who is almost a banker to get on the point sheet every week.
Like James, like Alexander Arnold and Robertson, these guys are guaranteed to get points over the season. But what you were saying about Sparky only picking wingers, I don't think that's true, because in the modern game, every player on the pitch advances, even the centre backs. Like you'll get Van Dijk in the middle of the box, heading it in, even scoring from just outside the box. So you get central defenders, they advance. The modern game is more fluid than it's not as rigid as the game used to be before. Like everyone stay back, or you stay over there, you stay over there. Everyone switches positions now. And this is something I've been saying as a player on the football pitch. I've been saying, look, we can switch positions. Don't worry about you're going forward, I'm going back. If you go forward, I'm going to cover you. So you actually lose markers like that as well. So nowadays they play a bit more like that, like interchanging.
That's an interesting points that you're touching on there. The fact that we played the game for many years, and people can laugh at that, people can smirk at that, but when you play at any level, you know how a footballer thinks. If you've played Sunday League, if you've played semi-pro, which we played, you know how you don't have to say it. Anybody that's played football knows what we're talking about. So based on that, watching the first few games of the season, we talked about Nunes and how the sending off may affect him now in a positive way. Have you seen any players that you've watched that you think, oh, I like the way that their positivity when they played?
I mean,
body shape. Any players to look out for?
Well, I mean, there's lots of players I've seen, like if you're talking about body shape, but let me talk about the one I picked in my team, Rodrigo from Leeds. He's probably the top scoring midfielder now, isn't he? He's number 1 top scoring midfielder, and I've had him like from the first week. So he's on the top of the midfielder charts. I think
15 points this week.
Yeah, this week 15 and last week 7. He's on 22, so he's the highest scoring midfielder in the game, Rodrigo. And if you want to look at how many people have picked him, right now it's only at 10%. Last week it was probably more like 2% when I had him.
Yeah.
The reason I picked him is because I watched Leeds, and he's one of the players that catches the eye, Rodrigo. He's always there. He wants to score. You could tell by his body language. He loves playing, and he gets in on the action. And also, if you watch like Match of the Day, you hear his name a lot, Rodrigo. He's on the ball a lot. And I got him for 5.5 million. I think I got him.
No, 6. And, 6. He's gone up to 6.1.
See, where he's 6, yeah. So I changed him for Martinelli because you told you
keep going on about that.
I mean, you said that my midfield was being cannibalized by too many Arsenal players, and I listened to you and I changed him for Rodrigo. Well, and then I was upset because I thought, oh no, Martinelli scored, but then Rodrigo went and scored 2. So I done the right thing.
Again, Van Dues was referring to our pilot episode, which you can watch. Link in the description below. In the pilot episode, we were showing our original teams. I actually sold Martinelli as well. I bought an Odegaard, but Van Dusen had Odegaard and Martinelli.
I had Saka and Martinelli.
And I mentioned that having 2 midfielders from the same team may be cannibalizing the midfield. And he said, and then he obviously took it into consideration and sold Martinelli, who's obviously got points over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Saka got me an assist on that game, and then Martinelli got the goal. But on the same games, Rodrigo also scored, so I didn't lose anything from that. And the following week, Martinelli scored again because he was one of my tips, if you remember, right from the beginning.
Same as mine.
Yeah, he was one of my main tips, Martinelli, and for 6 million, he is a bargain. And no one would have guessed that Rodrigo will be outscoring Martinelli like in the first couple of games at least. Because 3 goals in 2 games is really good for a Leeds player at 6 million. So I think there's a good player, Rodrigo. If you look at Crystal Palace also, I think they've got a lot of dynamic players in Crystal Palace, loads of them.
Yeah.
I like Elise, he looks good. Eze looks good. Zaha started firing already. Yeah. And they're bringing up. They've got a good academy at Crystal Palace, and they're bringing up some really good players. They've sold Conor Gallagher now to.
But Conor Gallagher was at loan. Actually, I was just going to mention Conor Gallagher.
Yeah.
Conor Gallagher was at loan from Chelsea.
Was he
last season? And I was so impressed with that guy. I was thinking, I wish. I didn't know he was a loanee from Chelsea.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought he was an academy player.
Yeah, and then I saw his. I was like, okay, there's no way Chelsea would sell him to Liverpool, even if Liverpool were interested. Because I've always been saying that our midfield needs to be strengthened over the summer, and that's one of the reasons I don't think we're going to be doing well. Even though I said maybe we'll finish second in the pilot episode. Again, go back and watch that. But Conor Gallagher may join Newcastle, and follow the media. Yeah, there's whispers. If that looks like that may happen before the end of the transfer window, by Conor Gallagher. That I'm going to waiting for him. I don't know who I'll sell, but he's on my list. Conor Gallagher's on.
Right, yeah, he was on the score sheet a lot for Crystal Palace.
Another player that Newcastle are looking at. I'm not sure if it will happen or not. Brendan Rodgers said absolutely not. Is James Maddison, who was one of the top scoring midfielders last season. So again, there's Newcastle are my tip to be the West Ham of last season, if you like. They'll finish higher than West Ham and probably in one of the.
I wouldn't be surprised, to tell you the truth. I mean, as a West Ham supporter, I do like Arsenal as well, but originally I'm a West Ham supporter. West Ham are never expected to do well, so
the thing with West Ham, they've also made a couple of signings this week. But after a season like last season, where you've been so close and so high, they almost
it's like they peaked.
The league. They didn't strengthen in the January transfer window, which was probably the reason. Well, they should still have won the Europa League, and that would have been the Champions League this season. But if they had strengthened in the January transfer window, they may, because they had a couple of opportunities where they had games in hand to overtake Spurs and Arsenal and definitely Man United and get into one of those top 4 positions. But they didn't capitalize. So when you've been just there or thereabouts, trying to do it again the following season, it's a challenge. So
I mean, they still got to get off the mark with a win, and so have Liverpool, and so has Man United. So it looks like a few teams haven't really started very well.
So talking about Man United, before we sign off, what are your predictions for the Manchester United Liverpool game based on the 4 games that I've already seen for both teams?
The thing is, Liverpool haven't got Nunes, so they're going to go out with a depleted side. Man United, I don't know what's happening with Ronaldo. Even though he played against Brentford, he didn't play. Ronaldo just doesn't want to play. So even if Ronaldo's playing, it's like he's not playing. I don't know. I'm just going to call it 0-0 or something. I mean, I want a goal fest. I mean, I've got Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I don't mind if it's 0-0. I'll get a clean sheet. All right, then. Let's see. I'll tell you what I want to happen. For the sake of my team, I'd want Alexander-Arnold to probably get a hat-trick. So, anyway, let me be realistic. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Liverpool. And Man United are going to have an absolute nightmare upon another nightmare. And they're going to lose at Old Trafford 2-0 to their arch rivals. And Alexander-Arnold's going to score both. That's my prediction.
I hope that prediction comes true, though. I don't think that'll
2-0.
be there.
Man United 0, Liverpool 2. Come on, Liverpool. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be too much of a nightmare if it's 2-0 to Liverpool.
It would be a nightmare for Man United.
I'm a bit more pragmatic, or let's say cynical, maybe is a better word, based on what hasn't happened during the transfer business during the summer. Nunes is obviously red carded, but looking at it from a wider perspective, Man United lost their first game at home to Brighton. Brighton are a very good side, and they were a very good side last season. Brighton finished, I think, 3 or 4 places above Palace last season. They were close in terms of points, and we should have lost at home to Palace. Apart from the fantastic goal that Luis Diaz scored, if Zaha had been more clinical, we lost that game. So even though it was a draw, it was a point gain for Liverpool, 2 points dropped for Palace, and the actual, if you like, the result was 1-1, but we almost lost that game. So that's kind of like levels out with the Brighton game that Man United lost at home to Brighton in the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Brentford obviously caned them 4-0. But then, I've been supporting Liverpool since the early 70s, lifelong. During the mid-80s, when we had domination, we were winning the league every season, Dalglish, Nunes, Hansen.
Dalglish.
Yeah.
Terry McDermott.
I remember games where we lost 5-0 at Luton and we lost 4-0 at Coventry, and this was the greatest, one of the greatest sides that we've had. So looking at it from that perspective, Man United losing at Brentford, is it an anomaly? We'll see. It may not be.
No, I don't think Brentford are actually an anomaly. I think they're actually like a very well structured team who have got like such a good
they are really. But Brentford, as when you look at it on paper, you should not. For Brentford 4, Manchester United 0 is not a result you expect to see. Nobody's betting on that. Nobody bets on that. So
I think Man United got well and truly caned fair and square. That's what I think. Fair and square.
They did. But you go. I mean, look at it from a player's perspective, from a manager's perspective. 2 of the goals, De Gea's fault. Normally he saves that first shot, and the second one, which he passed to Eriksen, obviously still dazed from the first one. Those are 2 goals right there. Anyway, Manchester United have lost their first 2 games, scored none, conceded 6 at home against Liverpool. What bigger opportunity to say sorry to your fans and get back on track slightly than to beat Liverpool at home? So from that perspective, and based on the way we've been playing, which was okay against Crystal Palace in parts, we were terrible against Fulham. I'm not confident. I can see it. I can see Man United beating us. I'm not going to predict anything. I don't like predicting our games, but it's certainly not a foregone conclusion like some Liverpool fans are thinking. But it'll be a very good game. It's going to be a tense game to watch as a supporter of both clubs. It'll be
it always is Man United
for the neutrals.
Yeah. I don't think Man United the players care enough about Man United to play how you feel that they would play. I know what you're saying, Man United versus Liverpool. Oh, come on, look, this is it. We have to win this. But you can only do that if the players actually care about that club they're playing for. And it looks like none of them really care because they're all getting paid too much to care anyway. And they think they can get paid better somewhere else. And they're probably actually looking for a way out. Most of these players, because like Ronaldo, obviously everyone knows he wants to play European football and he wants to go to a team. He doesn't care about he doesn't care. Nobody cares. None of them care. Oh, come on, they're like standing there like Skittles, like they're professional players getting beaten 4-0 by a newly promoted team. So think about it. I don't think they're going to score any goals ever. Don't pick Man United players, anybody. Not yet.
So
join our league. Join our league. Top 4 FPL.
Use our rules for Manager of the Month, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining us.